Hello, how's everyone doing? I'm here with Kingsley again today. So I want to share something that I think can help a lot of people who are dealing with stress and tying themselves in knots about worries of some sort. Um, it's an inquiry practice. I like to call it "Is this true?" Um, it can be a very powerful, fun, light, opening experience that can carry with you through your day and your life. Um, Usually, you want to start off just small, giving yourself a little time and space of quiet to go into this. You can meditate for a few minutes beforehand just to center, or you can just relax and then just go into any kind of issue you have in life and ask the question, well, is this true? And you want to leave it open and see what comes up. And you can keep going deeper into the next thing that comes up. Well, yeah, it's true. Well, why is this true? And you go into that. Well, why is this true? So I'll give you some examples from my own life. Um, One was I wanted to be cool. I wanted to be like seen as cool in life, and um, I thought it was an important thing. And if I didn't find myself as being cool in a situation, I'd kind of blame myself or feel off, or and I asked myself, well, what's this thing about being cool? And I was like, is it is it true that I need to be cool? And I was like, well, yeah. Well, why? Well, because that's what will make me feel good or make me seem cool in front of other people. And I was like, huh, well, is that what I want? Is that true? Um, and I realized, oh, well, what is cool? Like, cool is just this idea and this thing that I think I need. And I actually don't. Like, I don't really know what is cool. Like, who is cool? Like, cool seem to be only in relation to like a certain group, and one group may think another group is cool, another group may think another person is cool. But so there's no real agreement on what is cool. So it's like, oh, what is this cool thing? And I never really wanted to be cool anymore, and it was a relief. Um, Another example is like you're worried about a test because this test you think is going to bring you to a job or a school, and that school is going to bring you to a job. And so you have this constant worry about like accomplishing this, and well, you should still try. You can go into like, oh, is it true that if I don't pass this test, that my life's going to be a failure and things are going to be horrible? And well, maybe yeah, I think so. Well, the test is only one component to maybe getting into a school. So there's other things. The test may not be that important. Right? Definitely try. Um, because the school may not be what we hoped it would be. Like it, the school could offer anything. Like you could also find that when you go to the school, you want to become something different. So now all of a sudden, this thing you wanted to be before it changed into something, and you're like, oh, well, so the school wasn't that important because life will happen in one school or another school. And then the eventual job may turn into a job that didn't turn out to how you felt. So, like, is this true that this job will bring me what I think it will? Um, so yeah, you can take this. Is this true? Like, you just go into your own ideas of what you think something will bring, and you go, oh, "Is this true?" And what comes from that? And you go, "Is that true?" And you keep going with it as far as you want. You want to leave it as light and open, because in this process, you'll find that there's this kind of emergence of like possibility and an ease that can kind of relax you and help you just kind of go, oh, I'm making this more than it necessarily needs to be. Um, and it can carry into your life in many ways. Like, for example, you may be on a road and someone cuts you off, and all of a sudden that guy is an asshole because he cut me off. And if you're practicing this, is this true? Or if you want to practice it, like later in the day, you can go like, what happened in the day that really bothered me? You go into it. Is it true that did the guy cut me off? Well, he turned in front of you, but did he like deliberately try to cut you off? Like, was he trying to hurt you? Maybe he just having a stressful day. Maybe somebody called him on the phone, and all of a sudden, like it confused him on the road, and he's made a quick decision, and you just happened to be there at that moment, and there he just drove off, and he didn't even notice, and or maybe he did, and he thought, oh, I'm sorry, but I did that to that guy. Um, and you're left with this like heated anger about like this guy did this to me, and so practicing is this true can help you see that maybe that person didn't do that, or maybe a person you've labeled as like a jerk or um, an asshole or something like, and you go into like, is this true? Like, why do I think this about this guy? Maybe because he uh, he he doesn't really look at me for very long when he comes into the office, or he he uh, the way he shakes my hand, the way he dresses. Um, I don't mean probably don't think the guy's an asshole the way he dresses, but like there's kinds of judgments we have on people, and they come from certain reasons, and those reasons come from other reasons. Like, oh, um, I'll go away from the asshole one. Like, oh, he's dressing this way, therefore he's this type of person. He must like this type of music, and he's probably like a jaded person because he's into punk rock, and I don't think punk rockers are cool people. And well, is this true? Like, what makes a cool person? What makes uh, whatever your idea is, you just go into it. And this can be really liberating. You can then take this into your relationship. I know personally speaking, and I'm sure anyone can be like, oh, my partner does X, Y, and Z, and oh, it just drives me insane. I know why she does it, and you think you know, but you can go into like, oh, well, why does my wife um, leave the dishes on the counter and then not wash them, or rather, the husband? That's usually the stereotype, right? Um, and you may think, oh, well, he's just a lazy person, but like, you don't really know why they do something, and usually, when you think you know why they do something, you form a judgment, and that can lead to these fixed ideas we have. And if you're practicing, is this true? You can leave it open, and then you can maybe grow the confidence to introduce this to your partner and be like, hey, is this like why do you do this particular thing? I'm really curious. And as you practice, is this true? Like, there's an openness that can emerge, and your partner might go like, wait, is he attacking me? Is he just wanting to know? Because they'll feel the difference, and they go, oh, he just wants to know. Like, they'll give you a reason, and the reason might be like spot on, or it might be like, huh, they I can see that they think they know why they do this, and it may not be true. You can both go into like, is this true? Is this true? And it can be freeing. I mean, you don't want to like get crazy with it and be like, oh, what's true, and like feel so strange. Um, but it's like it can be really healing, and then eventually you can really just start to applying this to like your whole life, and life in the biggest sense. Like, you may find that as you do this, you'll encounter like, huh, life is so unfair, and you'll feel how it makes you feel. Like, life is so unfair, and you might feel depressed and angry about something, and you may find that you hold this idea a lot, like life is unfair because um, it it took away a friend of mine. Like, maybe one of your friends died. You know, like, well, life sucks, and life's horrible, and it's really unfair. And you can go like into it, like, is this true? Like, is life unfair and sucks because of this? And it may really feel like, well, yeah, of course somebody died, but is that unfair? is that wrong? Should that not happen? And these are things that could be really challenging to feel, because then they really get into like some underlying core beliefs of how things are. Like, what is life about? Like, it shouldn't do these things to me or to that person. And it can be really healing to like leave open life in the biggest sense. Like, maybe life is bigger than I understand, and maybe life is more open in ways that I can comprehend, and it can really help just open things up to new possibilities. Because when we fix anything to like a strict, I know exactly how this is, and especially when we attach a negative belief to it, it can just drag us down and drag others down. Um, so like I said, practice this in little increments, maybe at the start of your day or at the end of your day, and just reflect on what came up that you really reacted to, and is it true? Or maybe you know something that's been bothering you for a while, and you're like, is this true? Or maybe you meditate, or you start to meditate, and like within the midst of it, you're like, wow, I have this really kind of like core belief about something. And you don't need to force any of this. You can just leave it open, and just trust in the process of inquiry and openness. Like I said, it's really important to just leave it open. It's not about like becoming rigid and like focusing and being stressed about this process. It's just, is that true? Huh? Is that true? Huh? Huh? And you may not know either way at some point. You're like, oh, you're just left in kind of like an open-mindedness. So I hope you practice that. I hope it brings you some openness and joy, and helps you come out of some of the stress that it may be some stress that you may be living with. And I hope you have a good day. And both of us say goodbye.